Welcome, Saints Stuff fans. I'm your host, Wes Brown, and I'm looking today to talk about the Saints offense moving forward. Last video, we discussed the offseason moves and what the Saints did and what moves they made. A lot of it was financial issues and clearing cap space and just those moves and changes to the Saints roster. So we already evaluated that. We gave some grades out. Today, I want to look at the Saints offense specifically. And so we're looking at what is on our roster at the start of the season and what is some holes to fill coming up to the NFL draft in a few weeks. So I want to look at, first off, the quarterback position. Obviously is the most important position of all on offense. No Drew Brees. Drew Brees has retired. I mean, he's about a class act, somebody that has been a true franchise leader for the Saints for a long time. So to not have him is going to be a major hole to fill. And I don't care if it's Jameis Winston, Taysom Hill, or any other quarterback that we draft or sign. I mean, those are large shoes to fill for an NFL great to retire from. So obviously, it's going to be some major changes. So hopefully, I'm putting my trust here in Sean Payton and Mickey Loomis, and they'll find somebody to where they can at least win us some games and have a competitive team, but we don't have the same leader at the helm. So we're still looking for our franchise leader, I would say. So let's look at what we have. Jameis Winston, Taysom Hill, and Trevor Siemian is right now who we have on the Saints roster at quarterback. Sean Payton has been very open about it. He has said that they're going to have an open quarterback battle going into the next season. So that means that job is open for Jameis Winston to win or Taysom Hill. We've seen both quarterbacks play. So let's talk about Jameis Winston first. Jameis Winston comes from the Bucs. He ran a very different style offense there. It's a very vertical threat offense. It's a very home run hitting type of offense. They're looking for the 50-yard bomb with Mike Evans, who's a great receiver, great 50-50 ball receiver. Chris Godwin. I mean, they have phenomenal receivers. That vertical style of offense is very different than what the New Orleans Saints run. So that West Coast offense of like multiple sets, we use those checkdowns very well. We mix things up. We have a lot of player personnel changes. So we're looking to maximize the potential of every position on the field, where the Tampa Bay offense is not so specifically geared towards that. So Jameis Winston coming from that type of offense, we've heard that he got LASIK eye surgery. What my question is if Jameis Winston wants to win this quarterback position, it's how can you teach him to not try to take those throws down the field? Obviously, there's going to be times you're going to ask him to throw the ball. You want the quarterback to throw the ball 50 yards down the field. That's some of the complaints that Drew Brees has had for quite a long time now, is that waning arm strength. Can he do it? Is it even possible? I think he could do it. It was just in his head where he didn't want to do it. So Jameis wants to do it, and I think it's almost too much. So how do you dial that back down from a personality standpoint and have Jameis Winston try to throw the ball, check downs, move the chains a little bit, and when that play is there, that big play is there, then he makes the accurate throw. So that's what we're looking to see out of Jameis Winston. I think Jameis Winston wins this job. I will say that. I do think Taysom Hill will get a good amount of playing time still, but Jameis Winston, I think, will win this job. He has got a strong arm. He's, the only question marks there is that IQ of whether or not knowing when to throw the ball down the field, when to dial it back, hit your check down, hit your tight end over the middle for 5 yards, come back on 2nd and 5 rather than go for the home run and possibly have an interception. So that's what he's used to at the Tampa Bay offense. In some way, the Florida State offense was also very similar to that. So that's what he's used to. So let's see if Sean Payton can do something different with Jameis Winston that he has not done in the past. So Taysom Hill, on the other hand, we saw what he did in Drew Brees' absence this season for 4 games. He went 3-1 as the starter. Everyone knows that already. A lot has been said about how well Taysom Hill did as a quarterback. But how can he be, as a 17 now with the new season, can he start 17 games and be effective for that long? He's got the arm strength. He's got the arm capabilities. He's got the arm power. He's got good touch on the ball, too. So he knows when to – he has very good IQ. He's got a good deep ball. I question whether or not he has the stamina to continue on for that long of a season, the durability. His style of play is very physical. He's very rough. He's a very talented dude, but at the same time, it makes it really difficult if he's going to take those type of hits on a game-to-game basis. So it makes it very difficult to say, my trust is in Taysom Hill, the starter, who possibly could be injured by week 6. So that quarterback battle is there. I do think Jameis Winston wins that job. I think Taysom Hill will obviously get some playing time. I know a lot has been said about Sean Payton's gadget, quarterback, and he puts him in all over the place. I think Taysom Hill will throw the ball a little bit more than we've seen, but at the same time, I think he's also used in that same tight end, running back role, wide receiver role. Also plays a lot on special teams. So we'll see what we can get from Taysom Hill from that perspective. So let's move on. The running back position. This is an A-plus group right here. Alvin Kamara leads the charge, of course, of that running back room. I mean, he's a phenomenal running back. He's elusive. He's fast. He doesn't even look like he's trying sometimes. He's somebody that absolutely can go win you games, whether when you need it the most. He can hurt you both ways. He's very dual threat in that sense. He was one of our leading receivers with 756 yards receiving. So this is a great group. Then we were able to keep Latavius Murray, and so that 1-2 punch of Latavius Murray is very much that downhill running back. He will come hit through the tackles, and he'll gain those dirty yards, is what I call it. To where it's a lot of bodies. That's very, and Latavius Murray has the power to push through some of those. So very impressed by this 1-2 punch. I'm glad we were able to keep Latavius Murray, because I know he was kind of one of those players we were wondering about whether or not we cut him or re-sign him to a new contract. So glad to keep those two together. A+. Ty Montgomery is still on the roster as well. I want to throw his name out there. Because of COVID-related issues, both running backs were out for 1 week. Ty Montgomery filled in great for New Orleans Saints. So I really believe we'll be just fine in the terms of the running back position. So I want to move on to the wide receivers. Little bit about a wide receiver. What makes a successful NFL team in terms of a wide receiver room? What does that look like? Normally, a successful team is going to have their number one receiver, and that's their 50-50 ball guy. That's your physical play style type of receiver. He is your absolute number one, and this fits Michael Thomas perfectly. He's an absolute animal at catching the ball at its highest point. He's got the best hands in the league. He does not drop passes. That's what you want out of a number one receiver. That fits the mold of the Julio Jones, DeAndre Hopkins, Mike Evans even. That fits that role perfectly. So out of a successful NFL team, you've got that in Michael Thomas. Now, in a successful wide receiver group, you also have your number two receiver. He's normally very fast. He's very quick. He can burn the defense when needed. He can get past the corner, get past the safety. He does well against man coverage. He beats man coverage a lot. So that's what you want as your number two. That's what Emmanuel Sanders fit perfectly for the New Orleans Saints, was because Emmanuel Sanders had that speed and durability and quickness. He was a smart route runner. So he got open quickly and gained extra yardage and got leverage from these quarterbacks. So not having Emmanuel Sanders, that's going to hurt. So that really we look at the rest of the wide receiver groups, and that you got Deontay Harris, you got Traquan Smith, Marquez Callaway. All receivers are very unproven, undeveloped yet. They're still young. Deontay Harris is what sticks out to me. He only had 186 yards receiving and 1 touchdown. I would like to see him used more in the receiving game. So I think that's what sticks out to me. Lastly, that third receiver, and what makes up a successful NFL wide receiver room, is that third receiver is your slot receiver. He is shifty, he is fast, he's normally small. He's the perfect Julian Edelman, Wes Welker role. That they know how to move the chains. They're willing to run over the middle and take those wide receiver slants, those crosses, and get those extra yards when needed. And they're a very good safety net for their quarterback when the pocket starts breaking down. That's what I would hope to see Deontay Harris roll, because I think he's fast enough to beat man coverage. He is smart enough to know when it's zone coverage and sit down in a zone, get open for Jameis Winston, Taysom Hill next season. So I would like to see Deontay Harris in that slot role. So that really opens up our wide receiver number 2 role, is what I see it. Traquan Smith is an obvious, you would just normally move him up, but he's been we haven't gotten the production that we wanted from him. Last year alone, he had 448 yards receiving, 4 touchdowns. He's always injured. I'm looking to get more from Traquan Smith. I think wide receiver would definitely be a hole that would be necessary in the draft room. So I want to target that options. I give this wide receiver room B+. That B+ is there because of Michael Thomas. He's somebody that can win you games, realistically win 50-50 balls right over the defense and burn you when needed. We saw him do it many times. I mean, he set the NFL receptions record for a reason. He's good at what he does. The rest of that group is just, it's lacking something, and it's lacking playmakers, and that's what Sanders was for us. So not having him, not bringing him back is going to be a hole to fill. So that's what I want to throw that B+ out there for that and try to see what we can do in the draft in terms of wide receivers. So moving on, last positions, offensive line. Or no, tight end. I'm sorry, tight end. Adam Troutman is the one that the guy that's coming out ahead of everybody else there because he's the only guy left. We cut Josh Hill. We cut Jared Cook. Jared Cook necessary. Oh my gosh, is he frustrating to watch. But Adam Troutman, I think he's, again, another guy unproven. He's only had 1 year in the league. It's also a COVID year. He's a phenomenal route runner. He's very physical over the middle. I think he will do well. He only had 171 yards and 1 touchdown. I think those numbers are going to be much drastically different this next season coming up. So I think Adam Troutman moving in more towards a starting role is going to be a great benefit to the rest of the team. So I think he's somebody that can really realistically get open and kind of fight against those linebackers and those safeties and find open seams up the middle to where Jameis Winston likes his tight ends. So I think this might be a good fit for him. I question whether or not he can stay healthy, of course, but I think I'm very impressed with Adam Troutman so far. So I think he'll do well. I give this room a C, other than because there's not much room behind Adam Troutman. We have Nick Vannett. He's a very good blocking tight end, but I'd like to see more from this group. So tight end would be something we could realistically look at drafting. I wouldn't want to waste a draft on a top tight end, but maybe somewhere in the 6th round, 7th round, take a tight end and see what that does for competition-wise. So back to the offensive line. Last thing was the offensive line. It's Teron Armstead, of course, left tackle. He's been phenomenal for us when healthy. That's the issue. And so last year he played most of the games. He has a 84.9 Pro Football Focus grade. That's pretty good for him at that left tackle position. He only allowed 3 sacks. He played 79% of the snaps. I was impressed with him that I don't think he's going anywhere. So Andrus Peat, left guard. That's where it gets a little dicey. I don't think he's worth the contract that he has right now. At the same time, Andrus Peat's been very good left guard for us. He allowed 4 sacks and played 71% of the snap count. So his versatility is what keeps him on the roster for sure. He's somebody that can move to tackle if necessary. He can move over and play left guard if he needed to, or right guard if he needed to. So that versatility is key in that Saints offensive line role because we do seem to shuffle some people in the middle around all the time. So I do like Andrus Peat for that sense. Eric McCoy, 73.7 Pro Football Focus grade. I mean, he was phenomenal. Only 1 sack allowed. Saints love to develop their offensive linemen. They're very good at it. And it makes sense because Drew Brees is the reason why we developed those offensive linemen so well. From snap to the ball being released, you've got less than 2 seconds. It makes it a job easy for an offensive lineman. That's what I question whether or not Jameis Winston can do. Is if he starts holding on to that ball a little longer, you're going to start seeing these offensive linemen get frustrated trying to guard for that long to be able to have Jameis throw the ball. So I'm hoping that these grades don't slip for next year because these offensive line has been really good for us in the past. So let me keep going. Cesar Ruiz, he was our draft pick last year at right guard. I know him and Nick Easton kind of played a dual role there at right guard, but I think he'll do well. He's developing well. He just needs to put on some weight, get some strength, but he's been very good for us. So, and then last but not least, Ryan Ramczyk. Contract aside, he needs an extension badly because I want to keep him at right tackle for a very long time. So, and Ryan Ramczyk allowed 2 sacks and played 96.4% of our snaps. I mean, you can't ask for more than that. So, I mean, he's been fantastic for us. This offensive line as a whole is an A-. I mean, that A- is basically there because we don't have much back behind them if somebody were to get injured, but this is one of the best offensive lines in the whole NFL. So I'm very pleased with them moving forward. I'm looking forward to a great season. I think our biggest holes on the offensive side of the ball is wide receiver and backup tight ends. So I'd like to see more playmakers for us to move the ball and see what we can do on this offseason or this season coming up. So thank y'all for watching. If you like to like and subscribe, that'd be great. Thank y'all, and who dat?